صلى الله ربنا على نور المبين. صلى الله ربنا على نور المبين. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. يا لطيف يا الله يا لطيف يا الله يا لطيف يا لطيف يا لطيف يا لطيف يا الله يا لطيف. الله
أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم كل عام وأنتم بخير. اليوم 21/8/1447 هجري، والموافق يوم الاثنين، وهي يوم 9 من فبراير 2026. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. May Allah Ta'ala reward you, grant you barakat. Today we're going to do a faceless, something that goes beyond the physical vision. We're going to do it on the airwaves, the sound penetrations. This is what we have been moduling since 2020, 1441, whereby which we recognize not facial expressions, but we recognize our voice senses. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. It's no longer about seeing, it's about feeling. Those who has hatched from the New York, where Mamdani was crowned the mayor, they will understand this frequency that is now currently playing out. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. It is almost 10 days before the new lunar cycle will commence, where we as the Ummah of the Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam will recognize the value of the crescent once again in our lives. That is your astronomy, okay? That is where you want to see the light in the dark, yani when the sun sets. However, what you need to understand today in your lives is that the moon is coming out in the day already. Okay, those of us who are living above, you will recognize the light during the day. Okay, at the moment in your lives, you are now going through the double rainbow phase. Okay, the color is coming out, the lone in Arabic, LOAN. It in the organic language, LOAN. If you make a loan in the organic rhythms of the universe, of the conscious realms, loan means color. That is why they call it Babylon. Okay, but when you make the loan, you go into a transhumanism faculty where you think that the money is coming into your account, but it's only being credited into your fields, right? That's the different modulation when it comes to the word loan. Nevertheless, today why we needed to make this presentation, because we are not going to be doing the Monday and Thursday programs that we completed on the 21st of December, because now the egg is hatching, people. Those who has made it out of the past age, out of the past psychology that you lived in for nothing less than 50 years. Musa was captured for 40 years and another 30 years, another 10 years. Most of you have reached the age of 40, 50 years old. You've made salah more than what the Nabi made, more than Nabi Isa, more than Nabi Musa. Most of you have prayed already more than any prophet that has ever entered into your understanding of what prophets means. Okay? So by now, you need to understand one phenomenon. If you will now have to measure your level of awareness, it's now Jannah is awareness, Jahannam is unconsciousness. Okay? The white and the black, the hot and the cold, the yes and the no. This is now in your lives. Okay? Did you ever think that you were going to get Jannah because you did your 5 pillars, the 50 salahs up and down, as the Mi'raj went 50 times salahs? Okay, that was you, that was I, that had gone through that process whereby which we could not break through for 50 years of our lives. We could not question, we could not ask the truth, we could not show our doubt, we could not show the cracks. Now, after 50 years, since 2020, 1441, you got the manna wa salwa. Okay? That is what Allah meant when He said that وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ manna wa salwa, kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum. Whilst all the doubt, the guilt, the sins, and all these fabrications that you had gone through, did you ever think that you were just going to get Jannah by just hopping onto the train where your mommy and your daddy was? In ahli Kristen mense, in ahli Jure mense, in ahli Hindu mense moet Jannah toe gaan. No guys, wake up. You had to now come and understand why have you gone through that simulation. Why did you go through that default line? Okay? It is now, this is the age where if you understand who you are, this is the age of Aquarius, the age of Qiyamah. And this is the Chinese calls it the year of the horse, the firepower. Okay? Aries is the head, it's the mind. Now you have to come to realize that if you had gone through this process since 1441 until 1447 and you have detached yourself of your past identity, you have died in terms of who you thought you were for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, the God that you believe was real, the prophecies that you believe, the interpretations, the secular education, the entire scope was to be dilapidated. Okay? That was a natural order. That is how the Quran had visualized it into your memory skulls, okay? Into your membranes. If you mature, if you awoken, okay? Now, with that being said, this is all now in your higher dimensions, the way you had to understand the towers, the Abraj Nur, the towers of light. Okay? If by now you are not given your access card, you should understand why the Epstein files are being shown to you. Okay? The darkness is inside of you. It's inside of me. I want to know the business of someone else who I never knew. I want to find out how bad they were, how they were eating babies, how they were killing, how they were trafficking. It is only your unconsciousness that is being trafficking. It is only your stupidity. It is only your ignorance. It is only how you have been deconscientized. Okay? How you have been finding other gods which we called Allah and you called, it never existed, people. You need to come in terms of the level of your perception. You need to come out of that capture now. Okay? The Epstein files is Allah released it. Allah released it into your lives today. Why? In order to see hoe beskierig is julle van ander mense se besigheid. Julle ken nie die mense nie, maar julle wil study die mense se lewe. Julle wil weet hoe vuil is hulle en wat 'n nonsens vang hulle aan. That's the life you live in Jahannam. That's your unawareness. That's your unconscious condition that you yourself can now measure and understand why Allah did not allow you to enter into the new realm of self-knowledge. Okay? There's no getting away from it, people. This is now the age where you have to come to terms with whether you can live with your inner self, whether you can live with a clear conscience, whether you can live up to what you say you believe. Okay? Because many of us at yaquluna bi afwahihim ma laysa fi qulubihim. They said with their hearts, with their mouths, that was never ever in their hearts. Okay? Now, what you and I are going to uncover in the Aquarius age, the Aquarius age is the Qiyam age, the time where you will see your children will now rise. You will see your brothers or you will see your friends. They have now detached of that virtual reality that you lived for the last 30 to 40 years of your lives. Okay? This was the time you were given as what the heavens has acclaimed. Okay? You would not know when is the end of the age. That is the Qiyamah. Because now there's a new reality. There is a new definition of divinity. There's a new understanding of who Muhammad is, not for me and for you, for your children. Because for 50 years, 60 years, you just and I just mimicked and followed something blindly, believing that God had shortchanged you. Okay? Allah only wanted to understand whether you would go internally and clean your house and understand that since you've been watching Elvis Presley and you've been watching Michael Jackson and you've been going through the Dallas and the Man of Atlantis and the Kit and the Michael Knights and all these different simulations, all that data is inside of your cellular body. Okay? That's the information that you processed over the last 40 and 50 years, in addition to the news and the education that was given to you. And now none of that serves you now. You studied for 12 years in school, for 5 years in university, you did your thesis in your doctorate and in your PhDs, but you've not used anything in your given life. So all that and useless data now, you had to exit the darkness. You had to exit the realm. Okay? You had to find pardon, not forgiveness now, not maghfirah. You have to ask, you have to find a format, a formula as to how to pardon yourself. There is something called forgiveness and there's something called pardon. Only you can find that if you come to terms with the access of dark files that you have accumulated in knowing other people's business and judging the whole world but yourself, and not knowing that you're the only one that is judging yourself while you are reflecting the darkness within yourself. Okay? This is what you have gone through. Obviously, people, by now you must come to terms with not many of us will make it till Qiyamah. Not many is going to understand what Qiyamah is, because when Qiyamah came, you are prepared to wait till you die. Now, all of you know that your mothers, your fathers, your children that has passed on, they will never come back again to hell, where we are currently serving in a fictional, physical reality. Everything that you've ever known will not be transferred onto your children's portal, okay, your next generation's portal. This which you and I had lived through was depleted during COVID. That was the paper genocide. Everything will now go into the digital mental faculties of the new generations that is incoming, right? Now you need to understand is that this new database, this new data centers that is now going to be operating from your and to feed your next generations, they are going to understand, they're going to be they are going to be using AI, but they're not going to be able to control the outcome of it. Okay, they can apply AI on your digital screens, but they cannot control the outcome of it. Okay, if you and I knew what the outcome and that who you are, no one can change your direction, your qibla, your insight, your independence, your sovereignty. Now, in this last 5 to 6, the 7-year process from 1441 to 1447, a new software was downloaded onto your motherboard, your hard drive. Okay, this had enabled you to upgrade your nervous system, which we call the Musa, Muru Mauran, your entire nervous system has been reinstalled, okay, in order to reciprocate the new data of the new version of what the upgraded, amended interpretation of the heavenly revelations is. Okay, this is only for the chosen people. Wallahi, this is not for the Muslims, it is for the mu'mins and for the muhsins. Okay, you must be very mashallah, tabarakallah, those who I have come to know You are very, very fortunate. But thank you, ancestors. وَأَدْخِلْنِي بِرَحْمَتِكَ مع الصالحين. Okay, ربي ربي وَإِذْ قَالَ Musa, and when Musa said, oh Allah, when I go through this metamorphosis where I detach, I deplete, I uninstall my past operational system and my software and whatever I believed was a reality which I had been forged into, I am prepared to let go of that fictional reality so that I can find my eternal identity. Okay? And Allah granted him that whilst he will be gifted to be associated with Salihin, with those who were also validated of his ancestors and those of humanity that was given, that took this leap of faith in the journey called life. Okay, this is an upgrade, people. This is one of the greatest wahbas that you are being gifted. And mashallah, the AI is awareness. It's now you and your awareness now. Okay, if you know who you are, then you have found your paradise. You have found Jannah. You know what Jannah is now. Not what you thought you studied for 100 years or 1,000 years. This where you are now is putting you onto the path of the Sirat, which is the Jannah. This is your path. Hold on to this path. This is within your higher realms of consciousness. This is the Akhirah. This is Qiyamah. You're never going to leave Qiyamah. Stay in Qiyamah. Qiyamah is where you belong, because this is where you will always have the pleasure of enjoying awareness, consciousness, full blast health sensitivity. Any upgrades coming, any software promotions coming, all of that where you will find on your eternal journey, people. Here, death does not exist. Only when you fall asleep, when you become infatuated, that is when death and hell comes back into your presence. But whilst you have striven, given up, some of you have given up a lot, mashallah, ya Rab. Some of you have given up a lot of comfort. Most of the people were not prepared to do what you've gone through, people. I know personally what I've seen in my life in this short period. The sacrifices you are still enduring, and you're still managing, and you can still smile, and you can still say Allah's name, and you can still boast with the love for his prophecies and for your forefathers, and with the minimum that you are holding in your hands, you are the richest human beings on earth. That is what Allah wanted to give. Jannah. That's the Jannah that you are going to now be gifted and upgraded in. This is now what you saw in the picture now when we started off. That is the Baytun Nur. That would be the new operational systems that we will now be putting into an app, and it would be going out to the new children now, okay? To the incoming generations. They will find the sanctuary internally, in the towers of light, in the towers of Nur, in the house of Nur, not in the house of Allah, because that house of Allah was messed up, okay, with materialism, idolic beliefs, reserve idolic currencies. There's no way you can clean that house. That house has been mesmerized, and it was full of idolic practices. Now that physical world will dissolve in unconscious paradigms, okay? Those who did not do the work, they will deserve to remain in those paradigms, right? This is how it works, people. This is the abraj, the different layers that you had to swim out from. Swim in Arabic we call tasbih, okay? You were at a given time going through the Yunus allegory. You had to embody the Musa advent, the Musa stage, then the Yunus stage, then the Ayub stage. It's not physical. It's never been physical. It's always just been conscious. But it couldn't have been given to you if you did not go through the physical transformation. That is why we call Ibrahim Khalil, because he leaves the physical for the non-physical. That is what we call the alchemy. That is spirituality. Religion is a prison, but you are given that enterprise so that we can understand. Are you just wanting to barter? And you gave me 100 billion rands. Now you want to go into Jannah, but you never owned the money. You were just in a fictional reality. You can take nothing with you now. Who are you? Now, this is what you had to ascertain during the COVID pandemic, when Allah shut that reality and that construct of a paradigm and flawed it, okay, with all that comes with it. The new generations now, the digital children now, we have modeled for them a specific modulation of decentralization, tokenization. They will now be given a different operational system. They will not have money because they saw their parents had been the slaves of gods other than Allah. They did not ask Allah, they asked Shaitan, because Shaitan created their fictional money and their fiat currency. Okay, now that they cannot leave that reality, they are more concerned about Mr. Epstein that doesn't live anymore. He's a lankal satal. But you are now in the grave, people. You are in the dark channels of the reality. Don't let your children get into these kind of things, people. You are not here to judge. Whilst you have to judge yourself, this system is now kicking you out so that you can judge everybody else and believe that was a dark world. Nobody ever said that the lights was on there. That was just to see how deep you were caught into the nets and how you became a simulation of another society, another culture, another world. Okay, and that is how you were caught up in the nets. Okay, this is testimony for the next generations, as the new children, the digital children, will not interact with you in conscious. They will not be unconscious, whereas where the past generations had remained unconscious. Okay, this was the divide, people. This is where the end is, and this is where the beginning is. Most of you that are living in the unconscious world, okay, in the Jahannam world, you are searching for an end, because that's an endless pit. There's no exit from there. Those of you who knows that there's an end, they will know how to start, because they ended the chapter. Okay, you and I are unaware of what the cycle is that you are serving. That is how you do not know what the end is. Nobody can tell you the end. Only you will know the end, because Allah will allow you to open up your next chapter. Ikra kitabaka kafa bi rabbika al-yawma alayka hasiba. This is your entry, people. This now with the 17th of February, this Ramadan is your 7th Ramadan. Say Salaam Alaikum. You will now see what actually activates into your scrolls now. You can enter into peace now, because the peace is inside of you, people. You have the peace inside of you. You got the price, the noble price is inside of us. Okay, we have achieved it. We have founded it. We have found the promised land. We have found the real stuff. We did not get involved into these accolades and all these titles and all this popularist and entitlements. We remained in the house where we will always be with the ancestors, and we will find the incoming of the Azwaj Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, a new script for your children. They will understand that nothing missed them. They will find the Nabi Muhammad. They will find Nabi Musa. They will know all of these prophecies. Okay, they will know the qualities of these great allegories that Allah Ta'ala had framed into their psychology and philosophy. MashaAllah. It is now going to go adhan. Shukran so much for your time. May Allah Ta'ala grant barakah to one and all. And we come to you from our heart to your heart We do not will to be live anymore. We don't want to be in the facial expression of people. It is heart to heart now, people. Jannah, you're not going to see people's faces. You're not going to, yani, you must feel people now. Like your mother felt you, like your mother could feel that you are hungry, like you can feel your children are hungry without seeing them. It's time that you activate that, that networks. It's real. It works. Okay, it will just tell you how strong your Wi-Fi is with your children, with your mother, with your father that passed on. That's the real network. That's the network of the Kudus. That's the network we grew up on, and that's the network that we will always be in. So this is the network you need to embrace, embody, because yani, nothing is absent. Wherever you need to be will be now in the present, and that is the satisfaction and the gratitude, reward, and the loyalty programs that you will find points and be well rewarded, inshallah. May Allah bless you. Have a nice buka, and shukran for your patience, and Allah bless you for sharing your attention. Wa alaikum assalam ورحمة الله وبركاته.
يا مصطفى كل شيء